Today I'm going to share my seafood chowder recipe with you. Now the reason I've done this is because I've had two of my grandchildren have asked for it, and I don't have it written down. I never use recipes, I just sort of cook with what I've got. So I'm going to show them how I'm doing it today, and we'll take it from there. This is the first time that I've recorded something when I haven't been holding the camera, so please excuse me if things start to go wrong a little bit, because I'm a novice at this, so I'll do my best. This is a very rich recipe, so the first thing we've got to do is to get a very big pan and quite a good knob of butter. I'm calling that a good knob of butter. So I'm going to put that over in the pan now. You can actually come with me. So I've got the pan already on. There's the knob of butter, and we'll let it do its thing. It's just starting to melt a little bit now. The next job is to chop up some onions. Now I've got a very big onion here. It's a very big one, and I've got a few bits of onion left over from another meal, so I'm going to cut the ends off that first of all. What I like to do is to cut them into pieces like that, about 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch is 50, no it's not, what's it in millimeters? 18 millimeters. I should know it, I used to be a carpenter in a previous life. So I'm just going to cut that into 4 because I like quite big pieces of onion. What you've got to do now is remove the main skin, and we do all recycle everything here. So what I do is I chop this across the center, and then I use a few strokes like this. It cuts them into quite big pieces, which I find it makes a really good onion. I like big pieces of onion. I don't like mushed up stuff and stuff like that. So I'm going to finish this off, and of course there's always the obligatory glass of wine that has to go with every meal. So cheers everybody. Now I did say this was for two of my grandchildren, so I think I should probably name and shame them now. One of them is my grandson Alex, more commonly known by his stage name, Pass Out Pope. And of course my granddaughter Megan, who many of you will know, because most of the stuff I do is for Megan, because she's always mithering me to get stuff done. So this is the rest of the onion now, and when this goes in, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in it as well. Now the garlic I use, I try to use minced garlic. I find it's much easier than chopping it up, and it's just as effective. So I'm going to take 2 big scoops like that, 2 big scoops of garlic, and they're going to go in the pot. Okay? So I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, the onions are sizzling away now, and I've also got leftover from a previous recipe. I've got a little bit of leek. So leek is of the onion family. So a leek can go in this with no danger whatsoever. It adds a nice little taste to it. There's the trilogy. We've got the trilogy now. We've got the garlic, we've got the onions, and normally celery is part of the trilogy. So I've got a little bit of leek here for extra. That's going to go in, and actually I do have some celery, so I'm going to put that in as well. So this is a little trick. I haven't used this in a chowder before. These are lime leaves, kaffir lime leaves, and they're very, very pungent, very strong, and they add a lot of flavour. I've tried it in different recipes. So I'm just going to put about 4 of those. I normally put quite a bit of lemon in the recipe. But with these, that's all I'm going to put in there, those leaves. That's going to be added to it now, and that'll give it a very strong lime flavour, which is excellent for fish. I'm going to use 2 sticks of celery. So I've just been and bought this fresh, but of course you've got to wash it first of all. So I'm just going to wash the celery. We don't want any dirt or filth in there. And then I'm going to cut that up. I always take the ends off. Again, recycle. We don't throw anything in the rubbish. We have recycling for food. We have a food recycling bin comes round. And I'm just going to cut those nicely into small pieces, as you can see. And this will go in with the onions and the rest of the gubbins. When it starts to get wider at the end, what I'm going to do, I don't want massive pieces of celery in there, so I'm going to cut these down the middle, both of these, and then I can finish off chopping the rest of it off. I can actually, lovely smell like that. I can smell that celery now. It's really nice. That good, I've got to have a taste. Very flavourful. So these are now going to go in the pot. I'll show it you in 1 second. This is what we've got now, so I'm going to stir it all up, and we're going to leave those onions in there until they start to wilt and go a nice little colour there in the butter. I always use a wooden spatula for stirring up. I don't know why, just I always have done, and it's supposed to be the best thing for it anyway. You're not supposed to put metal on metal. So that's where we're up to for now. You cannot have a chowder without corn, because chowder is actually South American, New Orleans way, I would say. Call that South America. No, it's not really, is it? It's part of the United States, but it's the south part of the USA. I'm just going to throw them in the recycling bin. All this stuff goes in the compost. So I'm going to wash this before I use it, and then this can be cut up. Probably easier if I cut them in half first, and then cut the corn off like so, and then this can all go in with the rest of the mix. You don't need to see me cutting all these up. I'll just do the one, and then I'll be back again in a moment. Just time for another quick noggin. This is not corn on the cob now, this is corn off the cob. Of course you can use tinned corn if it's easier. I know a lot of the corn you get in England is they're very small, aren't they? Whereas in Canada you get big corns. You can get massive corns in summer, like 10 for $1, which is ridiculous really. But there's so many of them. So this is going to go in the pot now with the rest of the stuff. So what herb goes with fish? Obviously parsley. So I bought myself a big bunch of parsley here. It cost 99 cents. It's about 60p in English money. And again, I'm going to wash it. I like to wash all my herbs and vegetables and stuff before I use them. Not like Jamie Oliver, I like to do it cleanly. Sorry Jamie, just a joke. So I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to use the stalks and everything. And it's very simple. Just keep cutting through it all. What the heck, I might as well put the whole thing in, mightn't I? It's not that much, is it? No, I think that's probably enough. I'll save that maybe for garnishing later. So with a rocky movement now I can just chop this into smaller pieces. Oh, I can smell the parsley now. Only thing I can't smell is the wine. I better just check it hasn't gone off. No, it's still good, still good. I wouldn't want it to get in a state where it was not good enough to drink. I hate wasting stuff. Okay, that's going to go in the pot now, and it's going to be stirred around again with the wooden spoon. For those of you who have not heard of chowder before, it's normally called clam chowder, but for those of you who haven't heard of chowder before, it's basically a soup made with milk. Now don't laugh, it does taste really, really fantastic. So all the main ingredients now, with the exception of the potatoes, which I can't put in yet because they'll go to mush, right? So the main ingredients are in and they're simmering along nicely now. So it's time to put some liquid in. And what I've got here is a tin of New England clam chowder. Now you cannot get this in the UK to my knowledge, but a good substitute would be to get a good quality leek potato soup. Is fantastic. And mushroom is good as well. You can put mushrooms in your chowder. I've only got one tin of New England clam chowder, so I'm going to add to it a tin of cream of mushroom soup. As I said, it's a very rich dish, this. So I'm going to put these in. I'll just show you how we're doing at the moment. And as you can see, it's simmering along nicely. Get that little thing out of the way. And it needs a little bit longer yet, so I'm going to wait until it's sweated down a little bit more, and then the liquid will go in. You caught me. You caught me. Well, you can't cook without having a liquid refreshment along the way. So what I'm going to do now is put both of the tins in there, and as it's a milk-based soup, what I do to rinse the tins out, take the lid off, make sure we get it all in, put it all in, and then I will rinse the tins out with milk. So into the old fridge, put a little bit of milk in there. We don't want to waste any of that goodness. I'm going to agitate that a little bit, take all the bits off the side, and then that's going to go in as well. So I will then recycle the tins. Like I said, we do recycle quite a lot. So cheers, it's coming along nicely now. The next stage will be to leave it for a little bit, so I'll see you in a little while. Okay, we're back in the room. That's now been simmering away for about 20 minutes, and you can see it's a lovely, rich, creamy consistency. I've just had a little taste of it, and it needs a little bit of seasoning now. So I use sea salt for this. Obviously, it's a seafood dinner, and oh, this is going to be hard, isn't it? How can I do that when I'm holding a camera? Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to put the camera down, and I'm going to pretend that you've seen me put the pepper in. So I'm grinding pepper into it, and then I'll let that simmer for another 20 minutes, and then we'll see how it tastes again. So I've had a little tiny taste, and it needs a little bit of seasoning now, so that's the next step. Okay, everything's going along swimmingly now, so I'm going to prepare the potatoes now. So I'm going to peel all the spuds first of all and cut them up into little cubes. And they need to be, what, round about 3/8 of an inch, which is about 9mm cubes. So I'll peel in, these are yellow potatoes. Any potatoes will do, it doesn't matter. But potato is a very integral part of a chowder. Well, a little bit of black in there, we don't want that. That can go. There we go. Now, I've just washed the board as well, by the way, because we don't want any contamination from anything. All I've done is cut vegetables on it so far. Is a potato a vegetable? Work it out or look it up. Google it. Right, here we go. I'm going to chop these into little cubes, so I'm going to use this method. Make big chips first of all. Whoops, that slipped. That's okay, we can still salvage it. That one and that one. And then turn them through 90 degrees and chop away. And you can see you end up with nice little cubes. That's what you want, because those will hold together nicely. This is what I've got so far, so I'm going to use another potato, a little bit smaller this time, and then that's going to be enough potatoes. You've got to leave that simmering for 20 minutes to half an hour before you put your potatoes in. So I'm going, by the time I cut this up, it's going to be ready for going in. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, we need to discuss the fish now that goes in a fish chowder. Basically, you can put anything in, any sort of fish. Shellfish, you can put crab, lobster, clams, mussels, cockles, whelks, anything you want. But what I've got here today, I've got 2 pieces of red salmon, those 2 red salmon steaks, and I've got a nice piece of boneless cod, which is going to go very nice, and I've got about 16 of these king prawns. The only problem with the prawns, I will need to remove the tail. You can leave the tails on. These came ready cooked, and they've been deveined. They have a vein that goes down here through this little part here. And what I normally do is I butterfly these. I'll show you this later. And the next step is to leave the chowder for the potatoes to go a little bit soft, which is going to be probably another 15 minutes. So I will be back. This is my scariest thing, the salmon, because they do have bones in them. So that I've got to be very careful with those. We don't want anybody going down with bone problems. Okay, so we'll talk later. As you can see, the chowder's simmering away nicely now. The potatoes are in there. So now we've got to add the milk to it. So to make it to whatever consistency you want. You can have it thick, you can have it thin. Just trial and error really. I don't have any, with my recipe you don't get any quantities or anything. It's just whatever you think's good will work. And if it doesn't work, then you adapt it and you change it to make it work. Okay, now the cutting board's been washed, the knife's been washed. The next little instructional video is particularly for Alex. Alex, what happens when this happens? Watch closely. Take the top, screw counterclockwise, and then pour. And nobody will know any different. Next we're going to do the fish. I'm going to start with the easiest first, the cod, because this is boneless and quite a big piece actually. In fact, it's that big. I'm going to save one for tomorrow's lunch or dinner or whatever. If you're posh, tea. You come from the north, it's called tea. This is dead simple. You just cut your fish up into chewable chunks, and I like to put all the fish in a bowl so it can all go in together. So again, I'm going to bunch it all together and start slicing off chunks. Remember, you can do any fish, it doesn't matter. A chowder's a chowder. And like with the milk, I just put the milk in. It's negotiable. If it's too thick, then you put a little bit more milk in. The only rule to follow is you can't take it out. So don't overdo it. You can always put more in, but you can't take it out. So that's the cod out of the way now. Smells a bit fishy to me, but there we go. I've got a big bowl now. Now I'm going to show you how to do the prawns. First of all, these are already, like I said, they're deveined. So there's a vein runs down here. It's not good to eat. So what I do is I try. You can leave the tail on. I don't like the tail on. So the hard bit is trying to get the tail off and don't lose a little bit of meat that's in the centre. So I just break it away and pull it, and you end up with the tail like that, see? And that's no good now. That's going to go in with the food recycling. But what I do then is I butterfly the shrimp. So I'll show you a little bit closer up. I take a knife and I cut down the back where the vein was and about halfway through. Now that's a butterfly, and when that's cooked, it'll come out, and it actually, you think you've got more prawn than you've got. So I'm going to work my way through these now, and then like I say, I'll come back and I'll do the worst of all, the salmon. Just to show you once again, that's the perfect one where you've got both tails in. So that's what you're aiming for when you take the tail bit off, when you take the shell off, I should say. Okay, I've got the shrimp, the prawns, this is the tails that are left over, and I've got the cod in there now. So the next thing is this little baby. So this is an experiment. I haven't done this before, so it's going to be fun. Not a lot, but it'll be a bit of fun. Now the reason why I mentioned the wine thing for Alex and not Megan is because half a glass and she's gone. And Grandad does know how to embarrass her. So that's why I mentioned it for Alex and not Megan. I wasn't leaving her out, but it's for medical reasons, shall we say. She's gone.